Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of The Witcher 3. This is episode 101. Unfortunately, I failed to mention that it was episode 100 last time, but as I said in episode 99, I don't really assign a lot of importance to these numbers. It is a big milestone for sure, 100 episodes into The Witcher 3 Enhanced Edition, but I didn't do anything, celebratory.
Looks
because I don't find too much significance in that. It's nice that it's raining in the game because perfectly matches the atmosphere outside my room right now. I don't know if you can hear the thunder in the background because it's relatively loud, even with my closed windows and relatively soundproof room. It is like a lightning storm out there. It's kind of crazy. But that sun though, look at that. Okay, so for this episode, one word of warning. There is not going to be any story content. There's not going to be any side quest content. There's hardly even going to be any Witcher 3 content, especially not Witcher 3 Enhanced Edition. What we're going to do is, so this is going to let you guys know in case you want to watch or not. What we're going to do is we are going to sail across the oceans of Skellige. We're on Anskellig right now, I believe this place is called. Is it Anskellig? Yeah, I think it's Anskellig. And we're going to hit up these places of interest. So there's going to be a lot of them. In fact, we haven't even unlocked all of them. There are still notice boards just here and here on Anskellig that we haven't read, which means there are still places of interest that we still haven't unlocked. But for the ones that we do have unlocked, we need to do these because this is within my plan of just doing as much as I can in this Witcher 3 playthrough. So this is something we'll need to do. And because commentary is going to be kind of difficult when sailing through these oceans, I'm going to talk about things that are completely unrelated to The Witcher 3. So just a little bit of a heads up for you guys. If you don't want to watch it, please feel free to skip to episode 102. Which will be, up not too long after this one, and their regular Witcher 3 content will continue. But if you're interested in what I have to say in this one, I'm mainly going to talk about a bit of, just other games, a bit about my personal life. I think you guys deserve to know who I really am and what I really do for a living and stuff. So yeah, there's going to be some of that, and generally just fun times, enjoying the environment, sailing through the oceans. So that's your warning. Turn back now while you still can. Okay, so before we get this started, I'm going to save the game. And look at that drowner back there. Oh, that is kind of freaky. Before we get this started, I'm going to go into my options, gameplay. And what I'm going to do is set the difficulty level. Yeah, we're going to set the difficulty level all the way down to the lowest one. This is going to make it so that the sirens and drowners in the water and flying in the air don't do too much damage with us. There's going to be very minimal combat in this episode because we're going to be sailing a lot, and fighting on the boat, as you guys may have seen in the past, is very, very awkward. So we're not going to have any of that. It's just going to be kind of smooth sailing, literally, except the sirens will still be attacking us. It's just they won't be doing a whole lot of damage. I hesitate to use Quen on the boat, obviously, because if I fall off, that's insta-death. That's not fun for anybody, so yeah, so that's just going to be that. So as far as the commentary is for this episode here, I guess I'm just going to start with, who I am, my name, and where I live. A lot of you guys probably know that I do live in Canada. But not really much beyond that, I don't believe, unless somehow you gathered information throughout my episodes. Yeah, I live in Canada, in the province called Ontario. I won't go into much more specifics than that. You probably don't need to know more. I don't live in Toronto, by the way, in case you're wondering. Toronto is not my city. I used to live there, but I have moved since about 15 years ago. So, let's see. Oh, man. Yeah, like, these drowners are just so annoying. Maybe they can just die to my toxic blood. Like, seriously. Okay. Great. A lot of you guys may know me as Stardop, which is just a random name I really came up with a very long time ago. Some point during my life. But my real life name, most people call me, is Mike. Some people call me Michael, but Mike is what I go by through most of my friends and family members. And let's see, what else? I'm definitely not Canadian, as you might be able to tell from my accent. I was born in mainland China, and so English is not my first language. In fact, my first language is Mandarin. A majority of my childhood, though, was not spent in China. In fact, I guess you can say I was a big world traveler back in my childhood. Not because I wanted to, but mainly just because of my parents' jobs and stuff. So, you know, I spent a small portion of my time, of my childhood. Oh, nice! I just got a flawless amber. Yes, that's definitely going to be useful when I'm crafting Quen glyphs. Yeah, so I spent a small portion of my life in mainland China, but the rest of it is kind of split between other countries. I was in Australia, I was in Singapore, I was in Germany, and I am now here in Canada, and I have been for the past little while. Let's get this siren out of my way here. Go away. Go away. Okay, let's just kill it. There we go. And hopefully I can just kind of escape. Yeah, the difficulty is set to easy, so I shouldn't have too much problems surviving. So yes, because of these countries I have been to, I do know the languages from these countries because I did go to school there. So some of you might know from, you know, an episode or at a certain time I did mention that I do have a basic understanding of German. That's because I did go to school for 2 full school years when I was in Germany. That was a very long time ago, though. So if any of you guys who are fluent in German want to converse with me in that language, you probably couldn't, because to be honest, I can probably understand what you're saying, and I'll be able to understand what you're typing. I might even be able to type a little bit myself. But as far as just having a regular, everyday conversation with you in German, I couldn't do it. It's not something I can do anymore. But it kind of baffles my mind that at some point in my life, because I did go to school in Germany, at some point in my life, German was my primary language, and it's the language that I associated to the most. Because, you have to use it in your everyday life. You have to use it with literally all your friends, your teachers, and you're surrounded by it. So there was really not much choice. So throughout those couple of years in my life, I was extremely fluent, and I knew how to get around in the country. So not anymore, obviously. That part of my life is gone, but it's interesting to think back on it sometimes. German, by the way. I'm going to give you a brief language course on German right now, by the way. As I said, this episode is going to contain a lot of random talk from me. Just a quick, lesson on how German works, because this language is ridiculous, okay? So, in English, as you know, so I'd imagine some of you guys who are watching are multilingual, meaning you guys can speak more than one language. And that language is, it could be an Asian language, it could be a European one. But if it is a European one, then you would know that in a lot of European languages, you have these things called gender articles. And gender articles are kind of annoying because I think they're really pointless. So what I mean by that is, in English, you have the definitive article. That's the, the-e, the word. When you're referring to anything definitively, you have to use a definitive article. So, the car, for example, the dog. In German, you also have that definitive article, but now we're looking at 3 of them. So you have 3 definitive articles. One for each gender, so you have the male and masculine, and then you have a neutral article, which I guess it gives the language a little bit of uniqueness. I don't know if there are any other languages out there with more definitive articles. But German has 3 of them. French has 2 of them. If you've studied French in the past, if you're Canadian, you have definitely studied French in the past because it's a mandatory course you have to take. Actually, I think if you're German, you also have to. No, actually, in Germany, I had to choose between French and Latin. Yeah, so when I was in school there, you either study French or you study Latin, and I chose French. So yeah, there were 2 definitive articles in French, the masculine and feminine. In German, you have the added addition of the neutral. So for example, as I just said, in English we just say the car and the dog. The is the same in every single case. In German, however, the German word for car is Auto, and car is a neutral noun, which means if you want to say the car in German, the neutral definitive article in German is das, so you have to say das Auto. Yeah, another example is in English you say the dog, which is still the same one used for the car. In German, dog is, I believe it's masculine, so you use the masculine definitive article, which is der, or in proper German accent, der. I don't know, I've lost my accent a long time ago. So you say der Hund, Hund being the German word for dog. And same thing with cat. Cat is feminine. Instead of saying der Katze, which is the cat, you say die Katze because that's feminine. And there's really no rhyme or reason behind most of the nouns and the masculinity, I guess you can assign to them. So you just have to memorize it. So horse, for example, is neutral. And I remember this because when I was studying German back in Germany, my teacher would always correct me in saying, horse is neutral. It's not masculine like you always say it is. In fact, I would always guess masculine first and then feminine and then be like, oh, it's neutral. So now I definitely remember it. Even though that was a very, very long time ago in my life. That moment just stuck. So yeah, there's your little German lesson. I hope you guys didn't mind. If you are German, you can make fun of me for saying words the way I do. If you're not and you have no idea how the language works, good, because I probably didn't make a fool out of myself there. So yeah, there's that. So what else? As I said, I live in Canada. I went through most of my educational system here in Canada, which means I have a basic understanding of French. As some of you may know, Canada is a bilingual country, meaning we have 2 official languages. In the United States, you only have 1 official language, English, if you live in the United States, that is. And in Europe, I don't know. I think Germany, the only recognized official language is German. English, even though it's mandatory throughout your entire school system, is not an official language. In Canada, though, French is an absolute official language. That means it is mandatory to include French labels on all of your labeling for your products. You must have French radio channels and French, newspapers and that kind of stuff. But yeah, we are a true bilingual country, which means French as a language is a mandatory course you have to take throughout most of your school system. Like once you get into high school, you don't have to take French anymore. It's still mandatory for 1 year of high school. But after that, they're like, if you don't really want to learn French, unless you're in Quebec, of course, our French province, then yeah, you'll be learning French, obviously. But if you're not in Quebec, then you will be probably ditching it if you're not very serious about it in your future. So yeah, I did have to study a couple of years of French here in Canada, and I have a basic understanding of it, but nowhere near the same as my understanding of, let's say, German, Mandarin, or English. So while we're on the subject of languages, I'm not trying to flaunt my skills or anything, but I also studied 4 years of Japanese in university, so I do have a basic understanding of that language as well. I used to be a big anime fan back then, so I watched a lot of Japanese animations. Not so much anymore. I probably haven't watched a single episode of an anime for, 5 years or so. So I don't really. I think I just grew out of it. It's something many adults do. I can't say all, because I definitely have some adult friends who very much enjoy anime still, and I respect that. It's cool. But so during that period of time, I studied a couple of years of Japanese in school. I was never really fantastic at it, but because of the way Japanese works and is written, Japanese is a hieroglyphical written language, meaning that you write in symbols. Kind of hieroglyph, it's a word used for Egyptian language, but it applies to a lot of Asian languages. So it was very similar in terms of the way you write as Mandarin, as Chinese, really. But don't be fooled, because the two languages are completely different. And I speak as someone who kind of has an understanding of both of those languages. They are they're not even kind of close. There's a difference between, English and, I don't know, what's an obscure language? Sorry, I don't want to say the word obscure, but what's another language? Vietnamese. It's that different. It's, everything about it is different. The structure is different, grammar, and in Japanese you have these two types of alphabets, you can call them. They're not really alphabets, they're just like groups of symbols that you can use as a generic way of sounding out words. They're called hiragana and katakana. And these two alphabets, I'm just going to call it that, don't exist obviously in Chinese. And also you have another form of writing in Japanese called the kanji, which literally just means Chinese words. So that's where the similarities lie between the two languages, and everything else is completely different. So I don't even think the two languages have the same roots in terms of how those words are written. I know the Chinese characters and Japanese characters may use the same ones during with a lot of the nouns and stuff, but I don't even think they have the same roots, which is kind of strange. But yeah, that's just how it is. But if you were to give me an article in Japanese, I can probably understand a good portion of it without Google Translate, thanks to my education. But because I wasn't ever in an environment where people spoke Japanese to me outside of my class, I am nowhere near as fluent during the peak of my Japanese life. What the hell is that? Is that some kind of messed up pixelated siren? What the? Oh god. Okay, I don't know. It's like grass growing on the on the surface of the ocean, but floating. Okay. Anyways, yeah. Because I was never in a Japanese environment, I can't claim to be proficient or fluent in the language. I can only say I have an understanding of the grammar, the words, and how things basically work. I'm not that kind of person who is just able to speak in an everyday conversation, because I was never in that type of situation. So yeah, and I've never been to Japan. No, I probably never will. Travel is just not in my list of interests. It never was, really. I was dragged all across the world as a kid, but I never really enjoyed travel. Because you know what's the worst thing about traveling to different places as a kid? And a lot of you guys may have experienced this. It's just... these drowners are so annoying. The main problem is, and this only really applies to kids back in the 90s, which is, I'm a 90s kid, and, the early 2000s, this applies to these people, not so much anymore to kids nowadays, because we have the internet, and that changes up so much about how we live our lives. But if you're a kid in the 90s, and you're constantly moving all over the place with your parents, because, your parents have to move, I'm sure at least some of you guys have had to move in the past, and it was painful because you have to basically leave your friends behind from the school that you've attended for however many years. So in my example, I went to school in China for 3 years. I had good friends. I had friends who, we had our backs. we did everything together. We spent our free time in and outside of school together, and it's a kind of friendship that you build, and then one day it's like, oh, you're leaving and you're never gonna see each other again, and you're just like, what? And obviously the concept of the internet didn't exist, so you don't even know that it exists. Obviously, the internet has existed basically since I want to say 94, 95, sometime in that period, but I would say less than 1% of the households in where I was living had access to the internet. I think 1% is probably generous. So, we don't even know what that is. So, like, what can you do when you are separated from your friends? You gotta kind of write letters to each other, right? But as kids, I never really wrote any letters. So eventually those friendships were just permanently severed, and it's just gone. Like, even if I wanted to contact some of my very good friends I used to have, I couldn't anymore. Now this got better, obviously, over the years, because I did have to move several times in my lifetime and abandon a lot of my good friends. But it did get a lot better. So when I moved away from Germany, for example, the few really good friends I had in Germany, they left their emails for me, because this was in the 2000s, the early 2000s at that, granted, where still not even most households had access to the internet. But these people did. They had their email addresses, and we kept in touch for a while. But after that, unless you're always just keeping in touch, those friendships also eventually just go away, and it's really sad, and it's not a good feeling. So that was one of the reasons that I didn't very much enjoy traveling, because every single time you leave a place behind, you're kind of leaving a part of yourself back there too, because you had such deep connections with the people there. Wow, that's like really sobby. I'm sorry about that, but hey, you were warned at the beginning of the episode that this is not going to be about The Witcher 3, and if you skip that part, I feel really bad for you, because wow, this, like, I don't think most of you care about this stuff, but it's just generic rambling while I sail across the oceans and collect these places of interest. So yeah, so that happened, and even here in Canada, where I spent a couple of years of high school, I had to transfer once. My family had to move away from Toronto. As I said, I used to live in Toronto, and then I moved away from there, and there was no way to really get back there. So I had to leave all my friends there behind too. Now this is, mid 2000s. Like, we all had the internet at this point. A kid or two might not have access to the internet at this point, or might not even have access to the computer, but a good 90% of us had access to the internet, and it was okay. We had our social media. So at this point we had MSN. I even had a MySpace page. I don't want to talk about it, but I had a MySpace page. That just brought me overweight, but that's fine. So yeah, we had MSN, and in like the late 2000s, we got access to Facebook. That really connected us together. So I mean, I could contact a lot of my high school friends if I wanted to, the ones that I moved away from. But I don't really do it. Once in a while, I may say, "Hi, how's it going?" or wish someone a happy birthday. But I don't I don't really talk to a lot of my high school friends anymore. Some I still have in contact with, but not very many anymore. So that's that. But now in 2019, or maybe even 2020, by the time you're watching this, it's so easy to get in touch with people, right? The 6 degrees of separation and all that. It's so simple to just walk up to someone, get either their phone number or their social media, and just be connected for life, and you'll never really lose track of them anymore. And it's just a great feeling overall. So it must be great just growing up as a kid in this time, because you can just go back to any of your friends that you've I don't want to say abandoned, but you've left behind if you happen to move. And that's a feeling that I never got as a kid. So yeah, it's kind of sad. I'm going to go to a merchant real quick. I just maxed out on inventory weight super quickly. I think what I'm going to do for the purpose of this episode only, I'm going to increase my maximum carry weight a little bit after I dump off some stuff onto Rogue. Yeah, let's just use Rogue for now. I'll sell off my stuff a bit later. So I'm going to increase my maximum carry weight just so that we don't have to constantly come back to a place so we can sell off some of our stuff. So let's go into options here, mods, W3EE, inventory, and we're going to slide Garrows. So we're at 170, remember that. We're going to just go 9,000 and not have to worry about for the rest of this playthrough. For the rest of this episode, sorry. I'm not going to cheat and, and set my inventory to maximum all the time. Is this even my boat? I could be stealing someone's boat here, but that's fine. They won't mind. I hope. I think. Maybe. Alright, moving on. So, yeah, that's a little bit about me. Let's move on to something a bit more related to what we're doing. Not really. We're just going to talk about gaming in general. What I discovered is that the year 2020 is going to be a fantastic year in terms of gaming. Like, already, we didn't have that many announcements yet, but already I am so hyped up for certain games that's coming out. For example, in spring of 2020, we're going to get Final Fantasy VII Remake. Now, I haven't played Final Fantasy VII for freaking like 20 years, so I don't remember a scrap about that game. You know, I know the characters because they're constantly in my face all the time. Cloud, Tifa, Aeris, Vincent, Barrett. I know all the characters. But as far as how the game's combat system works, I mean, it's a generic Final Fantasy game. I think the combat should be pretty self-explanatory, ATB and stuff. But the plot, nope, none of that. Just not even a shred of what the plot is. I don't know anymore. Mainly because even when I played it back then, I never really finished it. Yeah, I got to a certain point and I just gave up. I wasn't a huge Final Fantasy fan until kind of late in my gaming life. I started gaming when I was around 21 years old, so kind of late. I was never a big gamer as a kid. I owned a Game Boy, and I played Pokemon. I used to play Pokemon, Kirby, and Zelda games, like the classic Nintendo stuff. But as far as real console gaming, didn't really do much of that until I was in my 20s. So Final Fantasy VII, it was more of an afterthought for me. It was not a thing that I just played it because I really enjoyed the franchise or anything. So yeah, we're going to get a remake of that, and I'm kind of hyped up, but at the same time, I'm a little cautious, mainly because of Square Enix's track record over the last couple of years. Yeah, we're looking at a kind of a huge wasted potential on Final Fantasy 15. 13 as well, but let's not get into that one. Yeah, so with Final Fantasy 15, and then there was the problems with the director leaving, and then also just the Final Fantasy 13 franchise, the whole 3 games not working out as much as they wanted it to. They've been going through a rough patch, but hopefully with the release of the remake for Final Fantasy VII, they will kind of gain their footing back and get back into a era of renaissance, if you will, with the Final Fantasy franchise, because this franchise needs to pick back up again, and we need like quality games from Square Enix again. This is really not good right now, by the way. These sirens are tearing at my boat, and there's nothing I can do about it. This will probably sink my boat now. No? Okay, good. I'm not going to die. Actually, let me see if there's a drink I can consume here. Nope, I can't. I'm in combat. Okay, that's fine. Hopefully I won't die. In fact, I'm just going to go ahead and drink a swallow. These guys are really annoying me. So that's Final Fantasy VII. And then let's talk about the big one. The big one that's coming out in April of next year. Cyberpunk 2077. Seriously, like I can't even contain my hype for this game. And let me tell you something, when I'm hyped up about a game, I usually never watch any kind of trailers or gameplay or anything like that. So other than I do know that Keanu Reeves is going to appear as a character in Cyberpunk 2077, because it's kind of hard not to avoid that. It's kind of hard to avoid that, even if you try really, really hard, right? Because people put that crap on their thumbnails on YouTube videos, and you can't avoid it. So I do know that, my boy Keanu is going to be in the game. That's kind of really exciting. But other than that, I haven't really looked at any kind of gameplay trailers or anything like that, because I intend to have a fresh, blind playthrough the very first time. I don't want to know how the game works. I don't want to see certain key characters. I want to be surprised by those characters. So I haven't looked at anything yet, and I will continue to attempt to avoid all forms of Cyberpunk media until the game comes out, which I will inevitably buy on the GOG platform, because the people at CD Projekt Red deserve my money, and they deserve every single cent of the money I spent purchasing this game. So, by the way, guys, if you're listening to this, please purchase Cyberpunk 2077 on GOG. Don't buy it on Steam. Don't buy it on Epic. Don't buy it, okay, if you're a console gamer, buy it on your console, but don't give your money to Steam for this, or to Epic for this. Give it directly to GOG, to CD Projekt Red. So do that and support the amazing company that they are. Plus, the game is a lot cheaper on the GOG platform. Like on Steam, I don't know how much it is in America, probably around $60 American, but on GOG, you'll be only spending 60 Canadian dollars, which is significantly less than 60 American dollars. So we're talking about like around 50, I think, in terms of just how much you spend. So yeah, you'll be saving 20%. So yeah, buy it on GOG. It's a good platform. It's not terrible. It doesn't have all the features as Steam, of course. But is that my boat sinking? No, it's not. Okay, good. Get away! You see, guys, why I had to set this game to easy, right? This is unavoidable. There's nothing you can do about this. While you're sitting on the boat, you can't just fight these sirens. That's my boat sinking, I think. Is it? Oh no, it's not. Oh, can I get out of here? Can I just like fast travel right now? I want to save my boat. Yeah, this one. This harbor. Yes, I can. Good. I can fast travel just while in combat. Whew. That saved my boat. And look at that. No sirens either. Time to switch to a fresh one, I guess. So yeah, whether or not you're a fan of the whole cyberpunk apocalyptic future, I don't know. Is it apocalyptic? I don't even know, but I know the future is kind of messed up in that game. But whether or not you're a fan of that, whether or not you're a fan of first-person games, yeah, just get the game, man. Get it on GOG and enjoy it, because I'm sure you will. For me, for example, I'm not a fan of first-person games at all. In fact, I try to stay away from them as much as I can. And also, I don't really like this whole cyberpunk theme either. But I know because CD Projekt Red's developing it now, I don't want to put too much blind faith in the company. But just based on what they have created here with The Witcher 3, I really want to give them all the benefit of the doubt in the world, even though I don't, blind faith is not something I adhere to. So I'm going to get the game on its release date. I'm not going to wait for it to go on discount. I'm going to get it, I'm going to play it, and I think I'm going to enjoy it, even though I'm not a big fan of the genre that the game is in. So that's just that. As far as other releases, we're looking at, oh my god, The Last of Us Part 2. Yeah, that's huge. That's huge. Naughty Dog, another really good developer. I love the Uncharted series. I love The Last of Us 1. It's one of my top games of all time. Yeah, guaranteed to pick up the sequel in the series, and hopefully it's going to be very, very hard for Naughty Dog to have the same kind of quality as they did with The Last of Us Part 1, because it's already such a quality game. I don't think a single game on the PlayStation 3 can really hold a candle in terms of story and graphics at least. Maybe not gameplay. Gameplay with The Last of Us leaves a little bit to be desired. It's not bad. In fact, it's better than average. It's better than your standard third-person shooter, but it definitely could use some work. So if they just expand on the gameplay a little bit, work on more character development. Now, we had a lot of character development in The Last of Us 1, but it was really just between Joel and Ellie. There wasn't really anything else. Bill was kind of cute, but he was only there for one part of the game, so I don't think he really counts. What the heck is this guy doing? Okay. I wish I could just knock him into the water and kill him, kind of like a human, but it's a drowner. We can't kill him that way. So, The Last of Us Part 2. We're hoping for a bit more character development in terms of just some of the side characters. We already know that Ellie is going to be in the game. As I said, for games that I fully intend to play on release, I don't look at trailers. So, from the thumbnails I gather from YouTube videos, Ellie is definitely in the game. I don't know if Joel is in the game. I hope he is. We might see a bit of Joel. If Bill survived, we might see a little bit of him. Marlene's dead, and basically everyone else. Like, what are those two brothers called? Henry and Sam, I think? Yeah, Henry and Sam, they're dead. Those were all the characters, really, from The Last of Us, the original game. So, but I want to see new characters, and I want to see them developed a bit more. So, yeah. And also, any upgrades to gameplay would be fantastic, which I'm sure Naughty Dog would take care of. The gameplay in Uncharted 4 was smooth as anything. Like, as far as just the third-person adventure game goes, Uncharted 4, it's so smooth. The controls felt nice, the gunplay was cool, the stealth was nice. Everything about that game was really good. I got it on at a crazy discount too, only about 1 year after its release. I think I only paid 15 Canadian dollars for it, which is nothing, right? I mean, just 1 year after its release, it's crazy how much the price of that game dropped. And it's not because it's a bad game or anything, it's a fantastic game. So yeah, I didn't do everything in the game, obviously. Usually with games that I purchased for my PS4, if it's a game I really enjoy, I tend to like to get the platinum trophies for it. So for example, I did get the platinum trophy for The Last of Us. It was a pain, but I got it. I never tried for Uncharted 4 because I'm not a PlayStation Plus subscriber, and with the PS4 you have to be subscribed to PlayStation Plus in order to access multiplayer functions. And because there were multiplayer trophies in Uncharted 4, I never really just bothered. With the PS3, with The Last of Us 1, you never had to get PS Plus, so I was able to access the multiplayer on that just fine. And it was hard, like the platinum for that game. You had to do a lot of grinding, and 2 full playthroughs of the multiplayer campaigns. Yeah, it was kind of a pain. So what else is coming out next year? Well, I don't know about next year, but this year, it may already have come out by the time I publish this video, but Pokemon Sword and Shield. Not everyone is a Pokemon fan, but I certainly am. Pokemon was a huge part of my childhood. As I said earlier, I used to own a Game Boy Color, which I unfortunately sold when I was in Germany. So I kind of regret selling it, but that console is gone. I still own my Game Boy Advance, which it's my pride and joy in terms of old school consoles right now. I do have a PS1 as well, but I kind of enjoy the Game Boy Advance more because I've had so many memories playing on that console. Like, seriously, I still own my original copy of Pokemon Sapphire. That's the 3rd generation that was released in the early 2000s. In fact, my copy of Pokemon Sapphire is in German, so there we call it Pokemon Saphia. And I used to play. I used to be a huge Zelda fan, so I have A Link to the Past on that, which is one of my favorite games of all time. I know I say that a lot, but it really is in my top 10 games of all time, and I've played a lot of games. So yeah, there's a link between The Link to the Past, sorry, and I have a Kirby game, Nightmare in Dreamland, on that. I love playing it. In high school, so Pokemon and Zelda, they were like elementary school and middle school, right? It's my deep childhood. But in high school, what I was completely obsessed with was Mega Man. I couldn't get enough Mega Man. So I own but in high school my allowance was also low, so I couldn't really afford any real games. So for my Game Boy Advance, I got a copy of Mega Man Battle Network 3, 4, and 5. So I love those games. I like the Mega Man Battle Network games. They're just so fun. And as a kid, those were difficult, man. Like, some of the post-game content, if you've ever played the Battle Network games, they're really hard. So, obviously, I maxed out all of those games. And one of the toughest challenges, I don't know if any of you guys care, one of the toughest challenges in the entire Mega Man Battle Network franchise is... in Battle Network 3, you can face a dude called Bass. I used to say Bass, but I'm pretty sure his name is Bass. B-A-S-S. And he had this Omega version. And I had to literally pulling my hair out as a kid playing that and trying to beat him. It was so crazy. 4 and 5 were like a whole lot easier than 3. 3 also had the most amount of content, I think. But yeah, there were, so kind of like the Pokemon games, Mega Man games had different versions. So Battle Network 3, for example, had white and blue version. 4 had Red Sun and Blue Moon version. And 5, I believe... I also have 6. But I never owned 6 on the GBA. I played it on Virtual Console. So, yeah. Sorry, I pirated like 20 years ago. Not a big deal. I just downloaded those games from ROM sites for 6 at least. So yeah, for 5 there was Proto Man and Colonel, and 6 it was Boltzer and Gregor, I believe. As I said, I was a big Mega Man fan. So I played those games to death, and it was very, very enjoyable. As far as other consoles, I own a Nintendo DS Lite. In fact, I have 3 of them. Where is this treasure? It says that there's a hidden treasure around here. Oh, it's probably inside this circle. I'm gonna have to find it, really? Yeah, I have 3 different Nintendo DS Lites. I have one Nintendo DSi. It's not mine. It's a friend. It's a friend's, but he just kind of gave it to me. He's like, it's just gathering dust on my shelf. Why don't you take it? I was like, yeah, sure, I'll take it. So I got a DSi. I have a... I don't own my Nintendo 3DS. It's also a friend's. But, yeah, he doesn't really play it, so... Basically, mine. I got a PS1, 2, 3, and 4. And I intend to buy a PS5 when it comes out. Because Sony makes some crazy good games. Sony has some crazy good exclusive games, I should say. It's not always them that's making the games. Yeah, so for example, we got The Last of Us. We got my absolute favorite game from 2017, Horizon Zero Dawn. That's one hell of an exclusive, let me tell you. Oh my god. If you own a PS4 and you haven't played that game yet, oh my god, you need to do it right now. I wish I can go back, erase my memory of that game, and just play it again, because Horizon Zero Dawn, it's so good. So good. I think on the PS4 at least, other than Metal Gear Solid 5, I think Horizon Zero Dawn has some of the most polished gameplay I have ever seen. You can't beat Metal Gear Solid 5 in terms of gameplay. Alright, that game is so polished, I don't even know what to say. It's just, everything about the gameplay is smooth as butter. It's so good. But Horizon did a good job. It is the first IP of Guerrilla Games, I think. Yeah, the people who made the Killzone franchise, which I never played because, again, I'm not a big fan of first-person games. But yeah, this one I enjoyed. So yeah. As far as other exclusives, we have the Spider-Man game from 2018. We have God of War. What other good exclusives were there? I can't think of any right now, but yeah, those. Do I even need more? So yeah, I'm sure PS5 will live up to that legacy and create more good, great exclusive games for us. So yeah, I'm guaranteed to pick up one of those. I don't own a Nintendo Switch yet, but I will very soon, because in keeping up with my Pokemon fandom, I kind of need to do it. I hate having to purchase new consoles every time a new Pokemon game comes out, but it's my obligation as a fan, I suppose, to do it. Pick up a copy of Pokemon Sword and just check it out. When I do inevitably get a Switch, I'm also going to go back to a little bit of my Zelda, my love for Zelda back in the day, and pick up a Link's Awakening and Breath of the Wild, which I still have yet to play because I don't have a Switch. One of my friends is a very big fan of Fire Emblem, so I'm probably going to buy 3 Houses as well so he can play it. He doesn't have a Switch, yeah, but I'll get him to play that. And then as a kid, I used to play a lot of Super Smash Brothers, just like the original on the Nintendo 64. With my friends. I never owned a Nintendo 64 or a GameCube or a Wii. I never had a home console for Nintendo. But I might pick up Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. It's just a lot of games to play, man. It's going to be a very good end of 2019 and 2020. It's going to be, yeah, very much looking forward to some of the games releasing in the near future, and it's a great time to be a gamer right now, I tell you that. Very, very good time. I'm almost giddy in terms of all the choices I have. Oh yes, another game that's coming out next year. It's not a new game, it's more of a remaster. It's more of a I don't know what to call it really. It's more of a DLC sold separately as a full game. Now I know that sounds bad, and it probably is, but Persona 5 The Royal is going to be coming out early next year, 2020. So I'm probably going to pick that up. In 2017, I played Persona 5, and Persona 5 is my it's probably in my top 3 favorite games of all time. Yeah, so we're talking like The Witcher 3. In no particular order, by the way. I don't know which one of these is my number 1. I really don't. The Witcher 3 is somewhere in that top 3. Persona 5 is somewhere in that top 3. Because I know when a game is going to be in one of my favorite games of all time, when after I finish it, I get that extreme empty feeling for a very, very long time. You know, for weeks. I just feel so empty inside because I'm no longer playing this game. And that's the feeling I had when I finished Persona 5. It's like, wow, this game is over? I can't believe it. Yes, and having that feeling, it definitely made it into my top 3 games of all time. And my other top 3, and this is a game that not all of you may have heard of. But it is relatively popular. Disgaea 5. The Disgaea franchise is it's a Japanese strategy RPG franchise. So, where you kind of like, you have these characters, the plot's nothing really to write home about, but the gameplay is absolutely fantastic in the Disgaea games. There's just a lot of strategy you can employ. You can level up your characters and give them crazy stats, not to mention all of the different move animations are really cool. If you own a Switch, or hell, if you own a PC or a PS4, Disgaea 5 is basically on all platforms. So, time to drink another swallow. These sirens are not leaving me alone. So yeah, it's a good game to check out. But if you're not a big fan of Japanese RPGs, or if you're just not a big fan of strategy games in general, I wouldn't advise it, because gameplay is a huge part of that game. And if you don't like the gameplay, then you're not really gonna like the characters and the plot. They're nothing. They're really nothing. They're minor leagues. They're not even minor leagues. They're like, I don't know, little cup. So yeah. Those are my top 3, in case anyone was wondering. The Witcher 3, Disgaea 5, and Persona 5. So yes, this this new one, Persona 5 The Royal, is really just an expansion onto Persona 5. I really hate Atlas. Was it Atlas? Yeah, for not just releasing it as a DLC and charging full price for the game, but I kind of have to do it. Really, just I have to do it. I gotta buy that game. Yeah, that's that. I want to say I don't. I want to say I don't have the funds to purchase all of these games. Although that's probably a lie. I'm not like terrible off. I'm not that kind of, you know, like just so poor I have to eat instant noodles all day. I'm not a student anymore, right? I have a job and everything, so I can afford to purchase my own gaming consoles and my own games. Oh, by the way, yeah, I was going to go over a little bit about what I do for a living. I'm not going to go into any detail. I work for UPS. That's all I'm going to say. That's yeah, that's it. So if you wanted to know more about that, I probably won't give you any more information, but maybe depending on your question. So there's that. So yeah, I can afford my own games. I can buy these new gaming consoles. Sometimes though, I'm just a huge bargain hunter as well. For example, games on PC for Steam, I basically never buy a game the moment it comes out, because and this is like the worst type of gamer for the gaming industry too, right? Because developers and publishers only really make a lot of money by selling their games at full price. So that's 80 Canadian dollars right now, or 60 American dollars. You know, I should say US dollars, but whatever. You know what I'm saying. Yeah, so, but once they go on discount, like, I don't know, 60% off, 50% off, those are the bargains I try to hunt for. They're not making a whole lot of money, and plus it devalues their game, right? For example, I love Tomb Raider games. I played some of them as a kid, but mainly just the ones on like the modern consoles. I played the Tomb Raider on PS3. I played Rise of the Tomb Raider on PC, and I very much expect that I will purchase Shadow of the Tomb Raider at some point. That's a game that was released, if not in 2019, I want to say it was sometime in 2018. It could have been a while since that game came out. I don't remember anymore. I'm trying to like find a really good price for it. Now, at the moment I'm making this video, the game is like 65% off on Steam, like $25 or something. But the way I view these things is, in 2 or 3 more years, the game is going to go like 80% off, and it's going to be under $15. And I'm in no rush to play it, really. I have a huge backlog of games right now that I want to play, and unfortunately, Shadow of the Tomb Raider is not a priority on that list. So I don't see a reason why I should spend $10 more than I have to, because I want to play it right now. Because I don't want to play it right now. It's probably just going to sit inside my Steam library and forgotten about, honestly. So I'll buy it when. Yeah, sorry. Like, this is literally the worst type of person to be for the gaming industry. But hell, whatever. Whenever it goes to a price that I'm willing to pay for it, you know, off the bat, even if I don't want to play it at that moment, then I'll buy it. Same thing with Watch Dogs 2. I played Watch Dogs 1. In fact, I have a Let's Play for Watch Dogs 1 on this channel. 99% of you guys will not know this, but there's a Let's Play for Watch Dogs 1 on this channel. Go watch it. It has no views at all. No, just kidding. Don't go watch it. The game was massively overhyped. Ubisoft knows how to hype up their games just so that they can crash and burn. I don't like Ubisoft as a publisher. I like them as a developer. They develop some decent games, you know. Assassin's Creed is kind of cool. Watch Dogs 2 apparently is a pretty good game. But Watch Dogs 1, wasted potential. That's all I can say about that game. So, what the hell is this echidna doing? It's just hanging onto my boat. Free ride? Alright. Okay, so... there's actually going to be a side quest here. Okay.
Bastard! Asshole! Cockeyed prick! You're dead! I didn't want to hurt her.
Okay.
I promise. Someone...
Let's kill this siren here. And let's see what the side quest is all about.
Save me!
Any last words?
Oh. We have to save this one dude here, apparently. Alright. Sorry, warrior dude. You're dead. Let's see what this guy wants.
Thanks for the help.
What was that about?
Bugger can't handle that his sister'd rather sail to Lilac Bay with me than serve Freya.
Okay. Did you hurt her?
So he was trying to avenge his sister?
Aye, though I've no notion why. Didn't force her to do a thing. Never hurt her in no way.
A Skelliger seducing a priestess? I thought...
Thought what? That we don't do such things. Not every man in the Isles believes in that rubbish about the gods, but many can't accept that, and it leads to feuds, vendettas. It's not right, not fair. I love Irma, and she loves me. There'll come a day when we'll be together. I'll find a way. Religion's full of holes as logic's concerned. There's bound to be holes in its principles too. I'll find them, show them to the priestesses. Then they'll let me wed my Irma. You travel a lot, don't you? Ever come across something that can help me? Bring it here. I'll pay you well. I live in the hut the other side of the volcano.
See what I can do. So long, and try to stay away from brothers in a rage.
Oh, ever come across a thing? He is very, I guess, purposely vague about what we want to come across. So, gather books describing religious customs and precedents and take them to Ivar. Take the books you found to Ivar. He might... Okay, so we already have some of those books. Like, we have the one about Isolde and the other person. We have books about Freya. We have all kinds of religious books. Let's talk to him right now.
Greetings. Got something for me?
Okay, so that's why these books were considered quest items. Okay, I completely forgot about this one. So we got the Curious Cases of Virtuous Vega. We got Tristiana and Isidore. It's not Isolde. Yeah, Tristiana and Isidore. Change Your Life. We got Religion and Life and the Cult of Freya. How do you like that?
Thanks for your help, but I'm thinking I'll learn no more sitting here. Time to see the world. Perhaps while I'm on my travels, I can figure out a way to be with Irma.
Good luck.
Great. Oh, I hope he finds success in his life. Free spirit. Just like that, the quest is complete. I wonder what kind of volcano he mentioned. What volcano? Is it on this island? Huh. I guess this is worth some exploration here. Okay. As far as just random off-topic conversations go, we're basically done for this episode. Next time we decide to sail through Skellige again, hitting up these places of interest, I might go over them again. We actually got a lot done on the east and west sides of Ard Skellige here. Just do a lot on the north, so yeah. Expect another maybe 1 or 2 episodes of those random ramblings. Again, if you prefer not to listen to me talk about those things, then obviously I will have a warning at the beginning of all my videos, just to say that. Yeah, if you like watching them, then great. Okay, that is a big griffin. Alright, time to do some preparation. It's been a while since we fought a griffin. I don't even think I remember how to do this. Oils, what can we do? What's a griffin weak to? Let's just do rime oil. I love rime oil. Yeah, can freeze it with an Ard, can freeze it with frostbolts. It's going to be crazy good. Which reminds me, I actually left my bolts inside Roach's saddlebags because I deposited them because I thought I wasn't going to need them for this episode, but apparently now we do. Okay, so for now, let's just take out these frostbolts. Where are they? There they are. And we'll face this griffin. Okay. Got my blade oil ready. I got my swallow potion with 34 seconds left. Let's do this. Okay, let's quint up. Oh, wow, that is menacing. Archgriffin. Freeze. No? What? But I chilled it. Okay, hold on. Frostbolts. Come on. Yes. Oh, it's so good. What? Oh, okay, I guess I can't hit it on the swing. Okay, so we can probably fight a griffin like we've never have done before, and that is just up close and personal, and not trying to dodge all of his attacks instead of trying to block some of his attacks. Because now we got the beautiful
Damn it.
Twin and Earth Sign armor, so our poise should be enough to handle most of his attacks. Let's see. Okay, are you gonna attack me or what? Seriously? Just make it easy for me? Okay. What? I think he's like glitchy. Because he didn't attack me once. He just kind of kept on crawling up to me. Alright. Okay. I'm not complaining.
Winds howling.
I'm just surprised is all. Alright. That might have been the easiest griffin we have ever taken on. And loot the good stuffs. Nice. A frustrated warrior's notes and a skullhead key. Okay, let's see what we have. And just my plowing luck, I buy myself a horse, turns out to be lame. I take a wench for my wife, turns out she's a nasty B word. I can say that. Bitch. I built a house, not a year goes by, and lightning strikes. Burns the whole thing down. And the one time, fortune smiles on me, and I return from a raid with some prime loot. A griffin flies down and makes its nest right on the summit of the mountain. Right where I hid the treasure. Guess I should be happy it's not a gold effing dragon, for F's sake. Of course, referring to our buddy Bork 3 Jackdaws, or villain Dreadmirth, the only golden dragon really in this Witcher universe that we know of. But so be it, not the first wind to blow in my eyes, I'll chase it off, even if I die trying. Okay, yeah, I mean, he certainly tried, and he certainly died. And now the treasure will be all mine. Oh, in fact, there are more corpses down here. Okay, let's see what we have. Prime loot, apparently. Oh, not bad. Oh, flawless ruby? Heavy armor? That's not bad. Worth a good chunk of money. But still don't know where this volcano is. This hut on the other side of the volcano? What's this guy talking about? I mean, we gave him the books. We did what we came here to do. So I guess we can get off this island now. Yeah, where's my boat? There it is. Okay. Yeah, there we go. 1 hour passed. Man, I don't think I've talked this much in one of my episodes before in this series, and it's really doing a number on my throat. I need to drink some water. But anyways, this is the end of this episode here. I hope you enjoyed this really weird episode about just the games I enjoy and my own personal life. We're not going to be doing this for another little while. Like, I want to actually do some side quests and some other things in Skellige here. I mean, there are no more main quests, but definitely the side quests are going to be so good here. And really looking forward to continue this series. This has been episode 101 of The Witcher 3 Enhanced Edition. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one.